started with a photograph. One single black and white photograph taken in 1962. That's 64 years ago, long before any of us were even born. And yet, somehow, all three of us were standing in it. This is the story of how we found it, and the truth we wish we had never discovered. My name is Emma, and I'm the one who found it. It was a rainy afternoon, and I ducked into an antique shop downtown to wait out the storm. I wasn't really shopping. I was just wandering between dusty shelves. Then I saw it, sitting in a small wooden box of old photographs. The shopkeeper said it had been there for decades, unwanted. I picked it up out of curiosity, held it to the light, and my hands started to shake. Because in the background of that old photograph was me.
When Emma told me about the photo the next morning, I didn't believe a word of it. A 64-year-old picture with her in it. I laughed it off. People have look-alikes all the time. But then she handed me the photo and told me to look closer. That's when the smile disappeared from my face. Same eyes, same face, even a small scar above her left eyebrow. The one she got when she was 7 years old. It wasn't a look-alike. It was her. Somehow, she had been standing on a street corner in 1962. My name is Jason, and by then I was already trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe it was fake, maybe a prank. But the photograph was old, really old, with yellow edges and cracked paper. I kept staring at it, searching for a clue, until my eyes drifted to the corner, and my blood went cold. Behind a streetlight stood a young man with my jawline, my posture, even the same silver ring I'd worn since I turned 18. A ring that belonged to my grandfather, who died in 1961, 1 year before this photograph was taken.
My name is Sophie, and I was Emma's roommate. That night, she called me in a panic and sent me a picture of the photograph. I could hear how scared she was, and I was already preparing to tell her she was overreacting. But when the image finally loaded on my phone, I went completely silent. For most of a full minute, I couldn't speak. Emma kept asking, "Sophie, are you still there, Sophie?" And finally, in a voice barely above whisper, I said, "Emma, look at the woman in the window." In a second-floor window, behind a thin lace curtain, a woman was watching the street below. It was me. Not someone who looked like me. It was me. Around her neck was a necklace, the same silver one my mother has custom, made for my 16th birthday. A one-of-a-kind piece, the jeweler had said. No one else could ever have a one like it. And yet, there it was, hanging on a woman in a photograph from 1962. That's when I realized this wasn't a coincidence anymore. Something was very, very wrong.
The three of us met the next morning, knowing we had to uncover the truth behind the photograph. We spent 3 days at the city library, combing through newspapers from 1962, page by page. Exhausted and ready to give up, we thought we'd find nothing. Until Jason called us over.
The headline read, "Three dead in downtown building fire." The article said that building had burned that afternoon, killing 3 people inside. Their names were never released. The bodies were too badly burned to identify. The photograph we found had been taken just minutes before they started. The crowd in the image was watching from the street. And then it hit us. The 3 of us weren't in the crowd. We were inside the building. We were the ones who died.
None of us spoke for a long time after that. We just sat there in the library, staring at the photograph, then at each other, then back again. Questions flooded my mind. Were we their reincarnations, their ghosts, or had we somehow been brought back to the finish, something that they never could? We had no answers. All we had was one old photograph, and 3 faces by that. By every law of nature should not exist.
That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat at my desk with a photograph, staring at it for hours, until I finally turned it over. On the back, in faded brown ink, someone had written a single line: "For when you find each other again." But the strangest part wasn't the message, it was the handwriting. It was mine. The same loops, the same slant, even the way I crossed my T's. And beneath it was a date: October 14th, 1962.
After that night, we made a promise. We never showed the photograph to anyone, and we never spoke about it again. But every year, on October 14th, we meet, no matter where we are or how busy life gets. We still don't know why we were in that photograph. We don't know who we used to be or what we were meant to finish. But we know one thing for certain: some stories don't end when the people in them die.